Hey man, say man, this is the A-Man Show back at it again for more content. The Orlando Magic made one of the first blockbuster deals in the offseason, and that is trading for Desmond Bane in exchange for Cole Anthony, KCP, and 4 first-round picks in a deal to Memphis. This is the move that they desperately needed to make because the Magic last season was the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, and that negatively impacted the offense so much that it downgraded them to a bottom 3 offense in the NBA. Luckily, their defense were still top 5 in the league, and that kept them from missing the playoffs entirely, despite injuries and offensive limitations. The player that the Magic are getting from Desmond Bane is huge because Bane is one of the best three-point shooters in the league, let alone one of the more underrated players in general. He has been a consistent and efficient 18 to 20 points per game scorer who has established himself as one of the best three-point shooters in the league who can also create his own shot, can attack to the basket, and a decent defender on that end. With him on the roster, he just leveled up the Magic into a championship contender in the Eastern Conference overnight. I remember I made a video on the Magic almost a year ago, and I got comments stating that, oh, the Magic are not contenders, they're only a play-in team. I want to remind everyone before last season, the Magic in 2024, which was last year, were the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. They had 2 star players in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner coming into their own as a duo, specifically Banchero making his first All-Star appearance and averaged an efficient 27 points per game in the first round against the Cavaliers. Although Wagner averaged 18 but didn't shoot too well from the field, the Magic were a second half away from making it to the second round in their first playoff appearance as a young team. Also mentioned that they have one of the best defenses in the league, specifically top 5 in the league, led by their defensive anchor in Jalen Suggs, who was named in the second team all-defense in just his 3rd year while averaging an efficient 13 points per game and shooting 39% from the field, and also other great defensive guys such as Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter Jr., Bo Wagner, and other young guys such as Anthony Black, Caleb Houston, and so on and so forth. They have improved every year since Banchero got drafted in 22. And in last year's offseason, the Magic signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on a 4-year, $60 million deal, who was not only an integral part of the Nuggets championship run in 23, but he is one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league. And added Tristan da Silva from the draft in 24, who is another 3-and-D guy that can contribute right away. And plus Wagner and Banchero taking another lead to their game, and also Jalen Suggs too. I didn't understand why people believe that they're going to be just a play-in team last season despite them being the 5th seed, but treating it as a fluke. A fully healthy Magic squad last season would have been easily among the top 5 seeds in the Eastern Conference, hell, even top 3. I know it's getting a little hot in here, but we have to face the facts. Going into January, they were top 4 in the Eastern Conference with a 20-15 record. Franz Wagner was at one point top 6 in MVP voting, averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 47% from the field, 32% from 3, and 88% from the free throw line. But everything collapsed for the Magic eventually because of injuries. Paolo Banchero had an oblique injury that kept him out for 2.5 months. And on December, Wagner had an oblique injury as well, and he was out for the majority of January, which led to Jalen Suggs taking on the role as the primary scorer, in which he struggled to score the basketball along with his shooting from 3, despite averaging 17 points per game. And even he will go down with a knee injury that will sideline him indefinitely. Bo Wagner was out due to injury as well. Overall, the Magic dealt with nagging injuries that really costed them the season, and KCP, despite him being the healthiest of the bunch, he was so much of a disappointment as far as providing space along with defense too. Yeah, Banchero and Wagner on the floor, healthy would have made Caldwell-Pope better, but still no excuse for him to disappoint like this. With Banchero and Wagner back from injury, you can just tell that their chemistry is off because they didn't play with one another for so long, and without them creating looks for their teammates, the offense was anus. Most importantly, they were the worst shooting team in the league. Despite their horrific offense, they were able to make it to the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference because their defense. But we all know that the Magic stood no chance against Boston. Despite that, Paolo Banchero has proven to everyone that he's among the top 15 players in the league, or at least in the conversation, after averaging 29 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 44% from the field, 44% from 3, and not so good from the free throw line. Franz Wagner was great in his own right, averaged 26 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 44% from the field despite shooting terribly from 3, and was average from the free throw line. Both of these guys have proven they can be the main options on a playoff team and could potentially be a championship level duo given that they added Desmond Bane, which will create even more spacing and better opportunities to score at will, especially in transition and early in the shot clock for them. But another issue I would like to mention is that the Magic needs to improve on their pace. They have one of the slowest paces in the NBA, bottom 5 in the league, and adding Bane in the mix will improve the pace on this team. With Bane's off-ball movement and of course his catch and shoot game, the Magic can get into their offense a lot faster because they don't have to wait on Banchero or Wagner to post up or isolate in order to get the offense going. Of course, him being a threat from 3 can really take the offensive load off of the star duo, which means faster reads, better shot creation, and so on and so forth. Now with Desmond Bane, the Magic are now in that championship mix, but there are things that needs to be addressed, and that is, can Jalen Suggs grow into that playmaker that Orlando needs, because they can't just rely on Wagner, hell, even Banchero to create plays from teammates. So I feel like he needs to be that guy that can get the offense going, because it's one thing you can shoot the basketball, but if he can get guys open, continuously make the right reads, and not turn the ball over at the same time, in which Jalen Suggs can improve on, then the Magic can really be an above average offense. They may not be up there with Cleveland's offense, but they really don't need to, because they have a top 5 defense in the NBA. And if Jalen Suggs improved to be a respectable ball distributor, and also adding Desmond Bane's presence, that along with Banchero's and Wagner's leap towards one of the best duos in the league. And also, I haven't mentioned their bench. They have one of the better benches in the league. Despite getting rid of Cole Anthony, they have a backup duo-at-all point forward in Anthony Black, and also another playmaking point guard in Tyus Jones, whom they signed on a veteran mini. Furthermore, they drafted Jace Richardson, who is actually Jay Rich's son, who is a 40% shooter in college, and he is expected to be another spacer and scorer off the bench. They also have Jett Howard, who can provide scoring as well as energy and hustle off the bench. Of course, Tristan De Silva, a stretch 4, who can also play D. And they have Mo Wagner, who can provide energy and hustle and be a lob threat, and he can space the floor too. And Caleb Houston, and also they have Jonathan Isaac, who is a ferocious defensive player. And not to mention Wendell Carter Jr., who was the starter last year and yet had a really underwhelming year in 2025, and he regressed from being a double-double machine and spacing the floor too, and his defense isn't as impactful as before, which is why I can see the Magic start Mo Wagner over him, because he does pretty much everything better besides perimeter defense and rebounding than Carter. But anyways, the Magic have a very deep bench, but there are some questions on who can be the main secondary scorer off the bench. Can Anthony Black take a leap in which he can and be that 6-man valuable option? Like I said, he can really do it, because last season he has taken leaps compared to his rookie year to his second year, where he was a solid 8 points per game scorer off the bench, who can play make as well as play defense at a high level. Get this, he's one of the best bench defenders in the league as far as getting steals and causing turnovers. I have a belief that Black can take that leap towards becoming a reliable 6-man on this potential championship level roster. Overall, the Magic have greatly improved in a roster standpoint, and of course addressed the needs of the roster, such as shooting and playmaking. They fixed that and overall added more firepower on the roster. For this duo specifically, I truly see Franz Wagner be an all-star for the first time and put himself in the conversation as the 5 best power forwards in the league next season. And of course, Banchero, I truly see this guy have an MVP level year in Orlando and put himself among the top 10 players in the league, especially what he has done in the last 2 postseasons. I feel like 26 will be the year that he truly breaks out and becomes a true superstar in this league. The Orlando Magic are in a really good position to really make it out of the East, given how wide open the Eastern Conference, because of injuries of Tatum and of course Halliburton, they can fuck around and be the best team in the Eastern Conference. It's very realistic for them to do that given how much they have improved and surrounded their young star duo, some really good pieces around them, and it's crazy how much they've gone from the Dwight Howard days back in 2009 where they made their last championship appearance. It took them a decade and a half for them to have this opportunity to actually make it out of the East, and I'm really excited for this Magic team to really do something in next year's postseason. So that's the vid. Let me know y'all's thoughts on this video. Can the Orlando Magic make it out of the Eastern Conference? Let me know, and be sure to subscribe to this channel for more NBA content, and also turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss anything new from me. And that is all. Stay litty. This is the A-Man Show. Sign out.